Welcome.
Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I have a very interesting personality with me. I'm not going to introduce you this time. I think it's wonderful that you all introduce yourself. Mr. Shabbir Shakir, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Samir.
I want to talk about your journey from early life to BITS to as recent as District Governor of Rotary 3030. Let's start from the beginning. बताइए.
Uh, my parents, my father was in a bank and therefore on a transferable job. So our childhood has been such that we've never been in a city for more than 2 years. So every 1 year or after 2 years, we used to change schools. And finally, we landed up in Nagpur because at that time my dad felt that closer to the 10th standard, we needed some stability.
What year was that?
This was 1981.
Okay.
So 1981 we came to Nagpur and I did my 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. 9th and 12th from SFS and 11th and 12th from Islam. After that I went for my education to BITS Pilani. After that I worked for nearly 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
First in Delhi and then in Mumbai. And then it so happened that I'm the only son to my parents. So my wish was that they come and we stay together wherever I was, and they were by that time very well settled in Nagpur. So they refused, and finally, as destiny would have it, I left my job to come over to Nagpur, and here I am.
So what year was that when you decided to come back to Nagpur?
This was 1993.
Then what happened next? You started some projects?
Yeah, so we started with printing. That was the first thing we did. And the reason we started with printing was because somebody gave us a job. And in my family, I'm the first ever to do any entrepreneurship. So started with printing and then branched out into sometime in 96, 97 into distribution, which was mostly photographic equipment and material. We were distributors for Konica. And after that, very lately in the last 6-7 years, we are into biometrics and networking and things like that. So that has been the journey.
When did you find Rotary as a passion then?
Frankly, I'll tell you, Samir, that Rotary came by as something which was thrust on me.
Okay.
How so? It was not by... my friend Viju, he and I were... we used to meet, in fact, every day, and he being a Rotarian, he just filled up my form, and the next I knew was I was into Rotary. In fact, the first year or year and a half, I was never interested in what was going on there. He used to come, he used to pick me up, take me to meetings, and it was, I think, after 2, 3, 4 years that there were certain things which actually I found interesting and worthwhile.
And then after, rest is history, obviously a lot of people will say. That is what I'm here to unravel today. As of I think 2 years ago, you were the district governor of Rotary.
2021.
Yeah. You were the district governor of 3030. From a person who was not very interested to being one of the highest posts somebody can achieve in a club, if not more, how did you go? What happened? What was that transition?
I'll tell you as far as what actually brought me close in terms of what fascinated me was 3 or 4 years into Rotary, I was given the job of handling Hemalkasa. And that in itself was such a mammoth exercise, and at the end of it, it was so satisfying to see what we've achieved and what happens out there. I think that was one thing which assimilated me into Rotary. And yes, we cannot forget a few events that have been a part of those teams. hard work, and hard work for what? To make life simpler in Rotary. Yeah.
So I have a question to ask you then. Can compassion be engineered?
Never.
No.
Never.
So you need to be able to have a lot of empathy and compassion to be able to do the kind of work that happens at Rotary level, and especially in Hemalkasa, I'm guessing. I've had this problem myself because my only contribution to Rotary is I go once a year, I do Hemalkasa camps, I come back. I am not active socially to Rotary. I try a lot, it just doesn't happen. What is the fix for people like me?
I'll tell you, Samir, everyone, and by everyone I mean everyone, has that compassion, that empathy. It is just somebody needs to touch that right button at the right time. And otherwise, everybody, I feel, has a heart in the right place, wants to do good, wants to be useful to society. I'm absolutely certain about that.
Can you pinpoint a first Rotary project of yours that changed your worldview?
Like I said that...
Hemalkasa, other than that.
Other than that, Hemalkasa, if you were to ask me, that journey after that, after that, the journey has been fulfilling in every which way, because for the first time in my life, did I... the fact that we started seeing people who are lesser privileged than we are, it always existed through the years, except you've never ever seen them in that way. And that itself is it's such a feeling whereby you feel you are reborn, there is something new you've learned, wherever you've seen that all your life, and that is what brings about that change, I guess.
But so when you said you were given a mammoth of a project like Hemalkasa to take care of, does your training from BITS Pilani or your corporate life, does that technical training help you in managing such mammoths of projects?
See, I guess I'll tell you, governance, administration, working, everything needs a structured way of going about things, and the more structured you are, the better it is for you to go about jobs which are administrative or governance in nature.
So did you learn those skills in corporate life that you got here and implemented in projects?
I'll tell you, the amount that I learned in my corporate life, I haven't learned since then.
And that those skills you are cross implementing over here in Rotary?
Everywhere. Through my life, everywhere, that those years in the corporate job, I think, I'll to give an analogy, that when you work in a corporate, you are playing on a screen which is IMAX 7D, and the moment you come to your own life and entrepreneurship, from there you've come down to a mobile phone which is black and white, and the one which is not even a smartphone.
So let's take Hemalkasa as an example. I mean, it's been how many years? Close to 40 years of Hemalkasa camps, I'm guessing.
In 1988 to now.
I was born in 88, so 38 years of Hemalkasa. And I mean, now when I go, I'm doing close to 150 surgeries in 1.5 days, and we come back. Earlier, obviously, itna infrastructure to nahi hota tha. So what are the logistics, financial planning, and the dimensions of a long-term rural project? What is... I don't think a surgery point view se hoga. Is there some transformation change that also the project looks at?
See, I'll tell you, things have changed a lot from when it began to where it is now. When it began, which we haven't even seen, because I've been to Hemalkasa from 2001. At that time, there were not even proper arrangements in the OT and things like that. It was actually something which we can only hear and cannot even imagine what it is. From 2001 to what it is today, that in itself has been such a transformation in terms of the logistics involved. At that time, we got nothing in Hemalkasa. From the first pin to your surgical instruments, everything had to be transported from here to Hemalkasa, and anything which was left out was gone. There was you couldn't get it, while you were there. Now, I think 50%, 60%, 70% of the things we don't even have to carry. They are all available there. So the OT there is now a modern OT. Where,
very nice. It's very nice.
Yeah.
From a doctor's point of view, I'm telling you, it's very nice.
So everything is available there, and the need itself has probably not diminished, because healthcare is still a major issue in our rural areas, especially those tribal areas. But I think the facilities have improved a lot, and that has made a huge difference.
In such a long-term rural project, are there some ethical dimensions to it also?
In what sense?
I remember this particular incident when I was a part of a camp. This was when I was a child. I had come with my father actually to experience that. As a medical student, I was there to whatever help. I remember some sweets of a certain brand had come for the kids over there. And I was hearing conversations like, this is something which is not available to the kids. They'll never be able to have this again. So if they don't know something, why introduce something to them? This was the argument. And ever since that day, I've been in this dilemma. So when I go for the project, I always think I'll get some toys, I'll get some chocolates and eatables for them. But because of this dilemma, I just don't do anything else.
No. I think if you see someone who hasn't been introduced to something, hasn't tasted something, hasn't had something, I think it is our responsibility to reach out and ensure that they get it, because whenever something new, somebody comes across something new, it becomes an aspirational thing for them. And I think even that is a responsibility we have to discharge.
Very nice. What I appreciate about that place is I have seen a lot of students who were there since their childhood. They've gone out, they've studied, they've achieved. One of them are doctors, some is OT staff. Everybody comes back and they want to work there and contribute to the community building of that camp itself. I appreciate that a lot. Moving on, I want to talk to you at length about this mega project of yours during COVID. You handled grants worth, I'm guessing, close to $500,000.
Yeah.
And there were global grants. You helped set up oxygen plants. There were digital drives, teacher training. What was that entire story about?
See, basically, that particular year, the COVID year, I was the district governor in 2021, and we had planned everything out to the last T. And come March, April, all our planning went for a 6, because the dimensions
Changed completely.
So whatever plans we had, we had to start everything from zero. To begin with, it's such a, it is so overwhelming when you face such a situation. One of the choices that you have is sit down,
do nothing,
wait for things to happen. Second is turn your back, run away. And the third is face it and do the best. And what I told myself and later on kept telling my team was that this is a difficult time. It has not come on to us, it has come on to the whole world. And probably we were chosen to lead a humanitarian effort in our area. And so take it as a challenge and not as something negative that has come about in life.
So what all things were you doing at that point of time other than coordinating oxygen plants?
So things kept changing. As I said, there was no plan. Things were unfolding each and every day. There were 101 clubs at that time in 3030, to which I was the district governor. And one thing I told every club president, every club secretary, that anyone who says that I'll be unable to do something because of COVID will be charged a fine. And we actually collected that. So, COVID was not a reason not to do something. If at all, it was a reason for you to come out and put in that extra effort and do something. So things were unfolding every day. The needs were different every day. What we had to do is stand up to that challenge. Whatever was the need of the hour, which, as I said, kept changing every day, and see to it that we could fulfill it to the extent that we could. One thing we learnt at that time: people are large-hearted. People, there are more givers in our world than takers. All they want to do is see that their money goes in the right direction and fully. So credibility is something which is of utmost importance when you are in the field of social service.
Did you face some challenges while doing all this humanitarian work during that time?
Challenges in terms of?
In terms of local bodies or some other issues? No.
In fact, the partnership at that time was something which was like you've never seen anything like that before that, and you will never ever see anything like that after that.
Explain that in detail, please.
Because every day I used to be with the collector at that time, with the divisional commissioner, wanting to know where we could chip in.
और क्या कर सकते हैं basically.
और क्या कर सकते हैं. So we are talking about ourselves. There were hundreds of NGOs like us.
Yeah.
There were thousands of people like us who were there to help, and the administration at that time was reaching out, asking for help, and wherever, I mean, whatever we used to say or they used to say, it happened in partnership.
So this is probably what it means in true spirit, that service above self. This is exactly what is happening.
Actually, Samir, that's the idea. Service above self. That I mean, it always doesn't happen that way. It's a thought, but I promise you, that's the only way if you are there serving the community.
During your tenure in Rotary, you have had a lot of stress on the growth of women members into the club. I mean, were those metrics very skewed?
It still is.
It still is.
Right now, the lady membership all over the world is 25%. But if you see in India or within our district, it's close to 16-17%, which still is very low.
Why is this happening?
See, because...
Is it the sheer number of population, or is it some other reason?
The reason is simple, that if you go to the tier 2 and the tier 3 cities, their women are still not coming out of their homes. So more than half our clubs are in tier 2 and tier 3 cities.
So how do you develop young professionals in community leaders?
See, we don't have to develop them. I think development is something which comes out from within themselves. And one thing which is extremely important before you go on to do community service is that you yourself should be stable in your profession.
Very true.
Yeah, because for me, today if you ask me how is my life divided, is my life all about Rotary or all about community service? No, absolutely no. For me, my profession, my family, my friend circle, everything is equally important. And Rotary is okay, takes up a certain pie, but yes, after all that. All these things are also important. You will be able to do service to the society or community all your life only under two conditions. One is either you are being paid to do it, or second, you are enjoying doing what you are.
Obviously. Nobody's going to pay you. That's never going to happen.
Yeah. So if I were to start developing someone, or someone has to be developed, it's not going to happen. It has to come from within. A person will do it only if he or she is enjoying it and stability in your own family, in your profession is extremely important before you seek happiness serving someone.
I want to go back to that incident you said your friend got you to the club.
Yeah.
But weren't you also developed because you had some initial friction time?
Not exactly developed. What happened was entry into Rotary was a forced event. But after that, getting involved and all, it was the happiness came from within. I'll tell you, when you set out to do something good to someone, I have never understood whether the other person has been happy because of the good deed that we've done. That is a question mark. One thing is certain: if you do a good deed, you are the most happy.
You'll be
person
most
out
happy.
there.
Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
it gives you happiness,
Yeah.
and that's what I think service is all about.
So, how do you balance your life with your active profession and Rotary? Because being a district governor and balancing so many projects, that must be taking a big chunk of your time. How does this balancing come in? Basically, balancing profit with philanthropy kind of a thing.
As I said, my profession comes first.
Obviously.
My family comes first. I think these two. I enjoy my friendships and my social circle. I have never ever compromised on that as well. So with all these things, and manage time and see that you also do something which you enjoy equally, which is Rotary, and a big part of Rotary is reaching out to the community.
So, does entrepreneurship generate funds that impacts projects in the long term? That also happens.
I didn't get your question.
Entrepreneurship से पैसा आएगा, पैसा somebody will donate to a certain project or something that will keep on driving the project. So, is this how it is going to be, or are we going to go back to socialism आगे पीछे?
No. We are not. I'll tell you, philanthropy is increasing with each day, especially if you see amongst the younger, the generation after us. I think they are the ones who share the most. You go back generations and philanthropy didn't even exist in this country. It has come in, it is growing. We see all people look for is a credible place to give. Otherwise, today there is no dearth of donors. You ask for anything, and an important aspect of any service that you do is finance. Where do the NGOs chip in? Is utilizing that finance in such a way that the last rupee reaches
there's no pilferage happening,
the
basically.
place that it should, and for the cause that the money has come in for. The cause is decided by the donor, not by the executor. So all this, the credibility, answerability, accountability, extremely important in this field.
So where do you think we sometimes these news keep on popping up? A certain NGO did something wrong, something. So this is basically pilferage of funds. What
It happens. It is. I will tell you, we've done so much disservice to ourselves. So much disservice that money has been taken in the names of community, and it has not gone to places that it should. And I think I view it as one of the biggest crimes that you can commit.
Are there no checks and balances in place? I mean, look at Rotary. There's such a huge organization, a lot of funds coming in. How is it possible to? What are the checks and balances to make sure?
All checks and balances are there, Samir.
Okay.
But then we are ingenious human beings, and the checks and balances are made by human beings, checked by human beings, and whatever is perpetuated, every wrong, that also is done by humans. And
I want to talk to you about your blood donations. How many have you done over here? So close to
149 times.
My God. What is this thing?
So now I'll tell you, this is not all. This story is not all hunky dory. When we were in college, at that time we used to go to donate blood because we used to get a meal.
Yeah.
So Red Cross used to collect it while we were in college, and to get that meal, we used to go every 3 months to donate blood. And something which started like that continued after that, because then we used to have a card where the number of times you donate and all. And it is much later in life that you understand well how important
Yeah.
is blood donation. The severity of the importance, came in much later. And once I realized and I had donated so many times, I continued to do that.
I think this is again what I would say, the discipline of giving actually.
Yeah.
That is where all these things come from. How do you measure outcomes of any project? Are there any KPIs for it? What metrics do you keep some certain project is successful?
See, there are certain objective, indicators, measurable ones, and there are subjective in nature. So, if there is a project of size or scale, either of the two, before you, while you are conceptualizing the project, before you start executing it, I think you should have measurable indicators, whether objective or subjective, and then go about it, because doing that, what it does is you are able to analyze what you have been doing, whether it is needed at all, whether going forward you need to upscale it, downscale it, or stop it
Change
altogether.
course or whatever.
Stop it all. There are so many things that we've been doing, which we don't need to do anymore. So stop that.
So over the years, I'm sure, as you say, knowledge of different projects has been passed down. So must be all these measurement criterias. So probably now when you get a new project, you already know कि probably ये project अपने से हो पाएगा, नहीं हो पाएगा, होना है तो how well will we execute it, what is the timeline, how do we measure this? This is basically all experience nowadays.
See, how does a project come?
Yeah.
It comes out of need from somewhere. So basically, as we say that we do not do something because that is our passion. I think it's wrong to go about doing things that way. It comes out of the need from some section of the society. Those needs, while those needs are never ending, you cannot change the world overnight. But yes, making an attempt to do as much as you can, and at times taking on things which seem impossible is also not wrong.
Okay.
Because we've actually taken projects much bigger than our size and done justice there.
That was a learning step probably.
Yeah. At times you may not succeed, at times you will, and but at least you tried your best.
So let's talk about Nagpur, the civic transformation of Nagpur, about education, water, health. What all is happening at Rotary level?
See, Rotary does not and cannot get involved to that extent,
Obviously.
that size, because we are, how many? We are 1,500 Rotarians in this city, which is a size of 40 lakh citizens. So what we basically do in terms of service is reaching out to sections, doing what we can, getting a sense of the need from the people. As far as working in tandem with the government as pressure groups, I think it doesn't happen as a club. It happens more as sections of membership, individuals. It happens more that way. Otherwise, I don't think we are into pressure group on the.
But I have seen this initiative every year. जैसे during the Ganpati Visarjan, we have seen volunteers from Rotary go up there and all the Varmalas are collected.
Partnering,
Yeah.
Partnering with the government, the corporation, the local bodies in their endeavors is a continuous process we've been doing. May it be Nirmalya Visarjan, may it be polio, may it be the TV drive, the inoculation drives. There are so many things which happen in which we are working in partnership with the government. So that we continue to do. They seek a helping hand. We are always there offering a helping hand, and wherever we can, I think we work with the.
So by and large, Rotary doesn't take an initiative. It will always be a back-end wala partner kind of a thing.
Yeah, whenever it takes an initiative, also it cannot be to the scale where it covers the whole city. So it will cover a certain section, a certain area, a certain
Obviously.
number of citizens.
Just vaguely, I just recall there was some project, I don't know who did it, what. It was about a microcredit system that the Rotary was doing. And it had done transformational change to a lot of people's lives. And a amount of as less as 5,000, 10,000 rupees. And the paying it back also, the amazing thing that was.
At the cost of being immodest, I'll tell you, microcredit was started in 2008 and 9 in our club, which was my presidentship.
Okay.
So even before my year started, I was quite keen that we would do microcredit. We started in 2008-9. It continues till today. We give amounts like 10,000 rupees and 15,000 rupees. There are no bad debts. We give it to only lady entrepreneurs. And we've seen so many positive results coming out. And it is something people chip in for. We reach out to people. There are a lot of, and it's been through so many cycles now that the money has come.
So there's no interest to the people. It's zero.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I mean, 2000. It's been over 10. What, close to 20 years now?
Yeah, 2008-9 to now.
A lot of life. Has the corpus increased over the years?
Yeah,
obviously.
It has.
So more female entrepreneurs are getting.
Yeah, you can.
Is the growth of female entrepreneurs seeking such funds increased, or it's a very slow rise?
No, it is increased.
Okay.
People wanting money to do something, that is always there. We have a constraint as far as our funds are concerned. If as much funds as you have, the people are there, asking for it, and the women especially are very, very, committed. And whenever they take even these small amounts, you see that they have created, something for themselves, a livelihood. Yeah.
What is the vision for Rotary's District 3030 for the next decade?
You see, the vision as such, there's an international, scenario we have. There's a national one, and then we come down to our district. Our district governor changes every year. A lot of things work on the passion of the district governor. Then there is a change which is coming in. Everything is dynamic. What I see personally, Rotary in the next 10 years is an organization which continues its growth in terms of membership as it has done, because membership is the key to every good that you intend to do. So the more the number of members, the more the number of committed members, the better is your chance to reaching out to society, doing projects of scale. By scale, I mean, one is you go, you distribute things, you come back, here you need to do something which brings about a tangible change, which is a permanent change in society. You can say we created this infrastructure. We eradicated polio. Now these are achievements.
Yeah.
And those are the things that you need to do, even if you are a cluster of only 100, 125 clubs. So what I see is that increasing in size to a level where you are able to do things of scale.
Also, I forgot to mention, when you were being when your presidency for the district governor was being held ceremony, your mother had done the ceremony. Was that a very special moment for you then?
Yeah, it so happened, again as an accident, because incoming district governor is installed by the outgoing district governor.
Okay.
That's the way it works. Now came COVID. So the outgoing district governor was not from Nagpur. He couldn't come to Nagpur to install me. So now we were left with what to do. So I said, well,
Zoom call पे घर
I take this opportunity where I would like to be installed by my mother. So my mother installed me, and in fact I made a statement that years from now people will boast about their installation ceremony. Somebody will talk about the venue, somebody will talk about the menu, somebody will talk about the decor. But I think I will stand out as someone who was lucky enough to be installed by his mother. So,
क्या बात है?
like, yeah.
Lucky person. What all does Rotary do for people who don't know?
The first thing is what Rotary does is brings enjoyment to the table of its members. And why, as I told you, that you will not continue to do good work unless you are either paid or you keep enjoying yourself. So the first aspect about Rotary is enjoy yourself. Don't be apologetic about your enjoyment. That's the first thing. It brings people together, gives an opportunity to meet people, to make friends, which finally results, yes, in networking, in knowing people, in furthering your interest in life. And then, why has Rotary not only survived but thrived for more than 120 years is its relevance to society. And its relevance to society is thanks to the fact that you are doing good work for the society.
Right.
Yeah. So wherever you see, as a group of people, as an individual, that you can make a positive contribution to society. There's no dearth of good work that you can do, especially in areas like India. So you can make a difference, step in, chip in, make a difference. I would say that we always use the word donate when it comes to giving something. Stop using that word, because it gives you a sort of a feeling. A donation is something which you had, which has been given away and you don't have it. The better word is sharing.
Share, yeah, obviously.
Share something. The implication is so much larger, and I'll tell you, there is no bigger happiness than sharing something.
I have a last few questions before I let you go. Have you ever been to one of those Rotary International conferences?
Yeah.
What happens on those conferences? I'm very curious to know.
See, those conferences are more technical in nature. There are certain motivational things which come in between, and then yes, you have people from different walks of life coming in, addressing people, because Rotary, as I said, is not...
It's a global organization.
And not only about service.
Okay.
It's about furthering yourself. It's about building up your personality. It is about meeting people. It is about learning. So all these things, when combined together, actually makes Rotary an organization that it is.
Is Rotary a career in itself?
Never.
Because my mind goes back to the first point that you said. Your career comes first and your family comes first.
Your profession comes
then
first.
Afterward,
yeah.
Rotary. Okay.
So Rotary is meant for... Rotary requires a lot of your time. And but Rotary is meant for people who have no time.
Exactly.
So you have no time, and yet you take out time from your busy schedule and given. Full-time Rotarians are very dangerous to this one.
There is a club within the club which is called as RMB. It's basically business together. How is it doing? And
RMB is Rotary means business. So basically Rotary has its members. There is a networking involved. Reaching out to people is making it an official platform. Gave birth to RMB, which is Rotary means business, where there's an official platform where you can actually network and further your business. And doing.
So is this a Nagpur specific thing? Or
No, it's not.
Global.
It's a global.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like a BNI thing.
Absolutely.
This was fun. I learned a lot of things today. Any advice for me before I let you go?
Well, Samir, my advice is that as a professional, I see you doing well. Continue to do
Thank you.
even better. As far as your profession is concerned, I'm sure one day you'll be at the top of it, and that is where you belong. I see you taking interest in something which has nothing to do with your profession. A podcast. I think that's the way life should be. Indulge in your interests, and yes, going forward, one day take out time to enjoy yourself meeting people. You already told me that you love meeting people, talking to people, and actually that gives the biggest and best learning in our lives. And yes, there will be a stage in your life where your enjoyment will come more out of giving rather than having.
गुर्बत में फिलोसफी नहीं होती, तो
हाँ,
पहले
yes.
तो पैसा कमाओ, वो वाली बात है. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
I really enjoyed a lot. I hope I can call you once again, because I like calling people again and again. We pick up just one topic, dissect it पूरा अंदर तक घुस जाते हैं. And that is what I've done with a lot of doctors and non-medicals as well. So next time.
Absolutely.
Thank you
My
so much.
pleasure. I'll be here whenever.
Yes.